Hello students, as you know, in the previous video I gave you a brief introduction about the poem 3 years She Grew in Sun and Shower, one of the 5 Lucy poems that Wordsworth wrote. Today I will start with the explanation of the poem. This is the text of the poem. Let us begin. 3 years she grew in sun and shower. Then nature said, a lovelier flower on earth was never sown. This child I to myself will take. She shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. She here refers to Lucy. So speaker says, 3 years she grew in sun and shower. So Lucy lived for 3 years in sun and shower. That means from the day she was born till the day she was 3 years old, she grew under the light and heat of the sun and under the shower of the soft rain. Then nature said, nature is here personified, and the speech of the nature starts from here. And nature says, nature compares this child Lucy to a lovely flower. Not just lovely, lovelier flower. She is more beautiful and lovely than a flower on earth was never sown. No flower lovelier than Lucy has ever been bloomed on this earth. This child I to myself will take, she shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. Nature decides to take Lucy under its custody to nurture her. She shall be mine. This means the girl Lucy will belong to nature. She will be created in the image of nature. She shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. She will be a lady of nature. She will be created in the image of nature. Next stanza. Myself will to my darling be both law and impulse, and with me the girl in rock and plain, in earth and heaven, in glade and bower, shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. Nature's speech continues that started in the first stanza. Note the comma here at the beginning. And nature here goes on to explain how she will bring up Lucy. Myself will to my darling be both law and impulse. Lucy will work on both law and impulse. Law implies rules and discipline. On the contrary, impulse means acting out of emotions, action taken on the spur of the moment. So, two contradictory forces. Very interesting to note that this is how nature works too. Usually, if you see around, nature has some rules and works accordingly to these rules. But at times, certain things happen and nature acts impulsively, and that we see, and that which results sometimes in death, destruction, and wastage of resources. So nature has both these qualities of law and impulse, and she will teach Lucy the same. The girl in rock and plain, in earth and heaven, in glade and bower, shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. And the girl Lucy will join nature in rock and plain, in earth and heaven, in glade. Glade is an open space in forest, and bower means a shady place under trees. So basically, in every landscape possible, Lucy will be in the constant company of nature. Shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. Lucy will feel an overseeing power of nature. To kindle means to rouse, to spark, and restrain means to control. So, wherever Lucy will go, she will feel a governing power over herself that will mold her into a perfect lady. The power will teach her where to kindle and where to control, where to rouse and where to control herself. Next stanza. She shall be as sportive as the fawn that wild with glee across the lawn or up the mountain springs, and hers shall be the breathing balm, and hers the silence and the calm of mute, insensate things. Nature says, or nature is imagining, Lucy will be playful as the fawn. Sportive means playful. Fawn means fawn is a young baby deer. So Lucy will be like a fawn. She will have the energy of a young deer that roams around with glee, with playfulness, with happiness across the lawn, across the grassland, or up the mountain springs. Or that young deer, just like a young deer can go up to the water springs, up to the mountain, in the same way, Lucy can go up to the water springs on the top of the mountain, and she will be jumping all around with glee across the lawn with happiness. And hers shall be the breathing balm, and hers the silence and the calm of mute, insensate things. And Lucy would also possess the breathing balm. Breathing balm means maybe the gentle breeze, or that would act as a soothing and healing balm. Balm is an ointment, an healing ointment for wounds. So her breeze or her breath would be like a balm for her wounds. And hers the silence and the calm of mute, insensate things. And not only that, she would even able be to silent and calm, just like those mute, lifeless things of nature. So she would also be merriful, joyful, be noisy, and at the same time she would maintain calm and silence, just like the calm things in nature. So she will be a perfect balance of contradictory qualities. She may be silent, she can be noisy, so she will have all those contradictory qualities. The floating clouds their state shall land to her, for her the willow bend, nor shall she fail to see, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. So nature is now saying that the floating clouds in the sky will give Lucy their state. State here may mean their nature, their softness, their fluffiness, or their grandeur. So Lucy would take all these qualities from clouds. For her, the willow bend, nor shall she fail to see, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. And the willow tree will bend before her. Willow tree is known for its flexibility. So Lucy will learn virtue of modesty and flexibility and politeness from the willow tree. Nor shall she fail to see, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. Even when a storm is blowing and following its path destructively, she would be able to see the grace in the blowing of the storm, and then this maiden's form will be formed by silent sympathy. That means she will have the sympathy for those who suffer in the storm. She will be bestowed with the virtue of empathy, that we call empathy to look into human condition, to feel their suffering. So all these things will shape and form her. The clouds, the storm, the willow tree, all the natural surroundings around her. So in the first stanza, she is a child. Then the speaker went on to say she becomes a little girl and she'll be going and playing all over the places. And then he says she will become a maiden by silent sympathy, a young woman. Maiden means a young woman. So in the stanza, she is imagined as a young woman. Next stanza. The stars of midnight shall be dear to her, and she shall lean her ear in many a secret place where rivulets dance their wayward round, and beauty born of murmuring sound shall pass into her face. Nature says, the stars of midnight will be very dear to her. The stars of midnight shall be dear to her, and she will love the stars of the midnight, and she shall lean her ear in many a secret place where rivulets dance their wayward round. And Lucy will have the privilege to know about the secret places of nature that are hidden. She shall lean her ear in many a secret place means she will have the privilege to know about the secrets of nature. In many a secret place where rivulets dance their wayward round, and beauty born of murmuring sound. And she will explore all the hidden places of nature, places where small streams of water, rivulets means small streams of water, follow their zigzag movement. Wayward round means their zigzag movement, and the beauty of sound, murmuring, the sound of water, and beauty of sound that is generated by the flowing of water, and that sound would reflect, that beauty of that sound would reflect into Lucy's face. Shall pass into her face means that beauty of that sound will reflect into Lucy's face. That means, being a nature's child, Lucy will bear nature on her face. Her face would be as adorable and beautiful as the nature itself. And vital feelings of delight shall rear her form to stately height, her virgin bosom swell. Such thoughts to Lucy I will give, while she and I together live here in this happy dell. And the vital feelings of delight and the lovely feelings of delight that she would gain from these natural experiences shall rear her form to stately height. These experiences would bring her up to a stately height. Stately means someone who commands respect, commands dignity. Her virgin bosom swell, such thoughts to Lucy I will give. And when she would gain this height, her virgin body will attain physically attractive growth that a young pretty maiden would have. So while such thoughts to Lucy I will give, while she and I together live here in this happy dell. So as long as Lucy dwells means lives. So as long as Lucy lives with Mother Nature in this joyful valley, dell means valley, she would shape Lucy's thoughts to the heights of maturity. Such thoughts to Lucy I will give means she would shape Lucy's thoughts to the heights of maturity. Last stanza. Thus nature spake, the work was done, how soon my Lucy's race was run. She died and left to me this heath, this calm and quiet scene, the memory of what has been and never more will be. In this last stanza, nature's speech ends and the speaker says, thus nature spake, the work was done. Nature declares that her work is done and she has nurtured Lucy as a perfect lady. How soon my Lucy's race was run. And then here, speaker states that her Lucy was no more. How soon my Lucy's race was run means her life race has come to a halt. Lucy dies. She died and left to me this heat, this calm and quiet scene. She left the poet alone in this world. Her death, so Lucy's life came to a halt in 3 precious years, and her death has left a barren land, a calm and a quiet scene. The memory of what has been and never more will be. And he ends by declaring that Lucy is lost forever and he will never be able to see her again. And the only thing that is left behind is just the memory of Lucy. So the poem here ends on an elegiac note where the poet is mourning the death of Lucy, or so probably Wordsworth here is imagining, had the child not died, what a fine young lady she would have become. And within nature's speech, he is also confirming his life philosophy that how nature can contribute into one's upbringing by being a friend, philosopher, and guide. So, students, I have completed all 3 poems by William Wordsworth prescribed in your syllabus. In the next class, I will start with the another poet, that is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Thank you.